looking at the Kaspa power law can give you basically a little better perspective of where we can head during that massive bull cycle, especially after the release of Dagnite, VProgs, all this development. So here we go, the Kaspa power law. It's been following the power law, for a long time, and now it's been crashing back down. So here we are today. Kaspa is at a 78% fit for the power law. So looking at this with respect to the power law is very interesting because you realize, all right, if we're down so low, what does the upside look like? For it to get back on track with respect to the power law, it's going to something like a movement to the upside in 2020, between 2026 and 2027, that can put the power law back on track. And it's something very much that could happen. You just think about it. With the VProgs, Dagnite, everything that's coming on the layer 1 for Kaspa, that can absolutely send the price skyrocketing in value. What the technology is able to develop that previously was impossible, and to be able to massively upgrade existing crypto solutions. So we look at the standard deviation here, and we just get a little bit of a guesstimate of where we could see 2027. So we're basically in 2026 right now. So looking at 1 year from now, going into 2027, we look at this price. This is about 2.25 times every single standard deviation. So that'll put the price in 2027 at around $3. That's what the power law basically is predicting here. And I think it's very much reasonable to see. 2027, $3. That's like a 72x on Kaspa's current price. The market cap for Kaspa, that would put it at around $80 billion market cap. If you haven't already, studied the Kaspa block DAG and you'll realize that it provides security of Bitcoin, the scalability like a proof of stake coin, even more scalable than proof of stake, and decentralization on par with all the major decentralized cryptos. Like recently is more decentralized than Litecoin, even with the nodes infrastructure, and the mining infrastructure is inherently even more decentralized than Bitcoin. Even more decentralized than Bitcoin. The way the block DAG operates, allowing real-time decentralization, real-time consensus from multiple different parties, multiple different miners from the parallel blocks created from the block DAG. It's some technical stuff, but basically what it means, it's more decentralized on a fundamental level than every single crypto that's ever been created. These are some powerful words, some powerful sentences, and it's something that it's not enough to say it, it's not enough to believe it, but you're gonna have to see it in action. And that's what I'm talking about. Next year, we're going to have all the major development releases there. And then it's going to take probably another year to be able to see and witness firsthand, with big money, being able to see and witness firsthand with their own eyes what Kaspa is all about. And that's where the major bull cycle is going to come for Kaspa. And I think that's where we're going to absolutely see something as much as $2.5, $3, $5, all the way up to there. You think the fair price is? I think that's where we're going to go to. So at around $80 billion, I mean, that puts it not even in the top 5 currently, or in a year time frame. I mean, we could expect to see crypto rise in value, but the fact is that Kaspa to reach $80 billion would put it basically with the top dogs. Okay, I mean, we see something around here. I mean, not literally dog, because Dogecoin is, I don't know what's so good about that. It's just, it's a first meme coin. They have their own little blockchain. You can mine it. There's nothing very innovative about it. It's just there as like a legacy coin. Okay, Tron, there's just a proof of stake, and you have to stake so much money, and then you can be able to get free gas fees. You don't pay gas on transactions. If you stake I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, like $100,000, then okay, now you don't have to pay the $2 gas fee, or not even $2, probably like $5 gas fees for every transaction. It's just, okay, it doesn't even make sense, honestly. Heavily centralized with money. Not cool. Anyway, Solana, it's there because of the adoption, and it very much could stay here because of how much is already on Solana. But then when Kaspa comes around, a lot of people, a lot of developers, they're going to come to Kaspa, okay, because it provides services and the technology that Solana can never be able to achieve, especially as proof of stake. XRP, we already know that's a banker's coin. BNB, it's a scam coin, and anything else do I need to cover? I mean, CZ owns how much percent of the BNB supply? Is it 60% of the BNB supply? CZ owns 90% of Binance. You can't get more centralized than BNB. Even as a proof of stake, proof of authority coin, it's extremely centralized. It's basically just a traditional, not much different than, You're having a few data centers out there for a behemoth of a Web2 meme casino, whatever. Ethereum, it's fragmented. It's basically the first of its kind to have smart contracts, but now you realize, okay, it's not the best. It's not what we need it to be. And you see all these different fragmented liquidities, these fragmented applications, and it's pretty clear as day, even within Ethereum, that it's not the end game for crypto. Regardless, it'll probably still maintain a high market cap. Bitcoin, I see it, it can continue going up for the next perhaps 7 to 8 years. At 7 to 8 years, people are gonna realize that, oh, wait a second, there is not enough on-chain activity to feed the miners to secure the network. In 7 to 8 years, it's not gonna be like a prediction of what could happen. It's gonna be there in front of their eyes. So I think the price before then, maybe a year or two before, it can start to price that in. Maybe a year before then, we'll see exactly when the market's price in the fact that Bitcoin will never be able to maintain the security needed because it just doesn't have the necessary transaction volume. The scalability of Bitcoin will inherently limit its security long term when there's just not enough emissions. The emission schedule gets so low, it's not going to be able to rely on the transaction activity. Just the Lightning Network, we already know this. Lightning is an off-chain and it runs transactions off-chain. Opening a channel is on-chain, but that's not the majority of transactions that occur on Lightning. So there's no helping Bitcoin long-term. It's not a long-term solution. So in 7 to 8 years, I very much do believe Bitcoin still could reach a market cap of 10 to 20 trillion. I mean, is that possible? It is possible. Could Bitcoin reach a price of 1 million? It's possible, but at that point, that would be the high and that would be the peak. After that point, people will see on-chain, and the miners will see that it's just not a sustainable ecosystem. And at that point, we'll see even a little before, Kaspa is going to surge because they will realize that Kaspa is the only viable solution. And it's going to become clear as day, especially in the next coming years, what Kaspa offers that Bitcoin could never offer, and what the rest of crypto market can never offer. It's the end game. It's end game crypto. It's the end game. It's literally like, think about it. Like, oh, we have the dollar right now. It's a dollar-dominated market. In the next decade, it could very much be a Kaspa-dominated market. Everything else is just noise, or everything else will be built on top of or using the rails that Kaspa offers. I mean, the most likely scenario long term, we're just going to be all about dominance levels. We'll see Kaspa reaching very high dominance. We'll see other cryptos maintaining a dominance level, but much lower. And that's just the most likely scenario. Everything's going to still exist, but it's going to just be based off of dominance. And probably Kaspa could eventually hit that 50% mark. I mean, it doesn't need to hit even 50%. Even if it hits just a measly, 1 to 3%, Kaspa can absolutely reach even like a $500 billion, $100 billion market cap. And that's the 100x gains, 200x gains that we'll see. Looking long term, the next 8 years or so, 8 to 10 years, whatever, the next decade, with Bitcoin reaching up to a $15 trillion market cap, okay, something like that, putting it to a price of around 1 million per Bitcoin. Looking at Kaspa, if Kaspa reaches just about the same level as Ethereum right now, 12% of the entire crypto market cap, 12% would give Kaspa a valuation of $1 trillion. $1 trillion. What is that in terms of price? I mean, that's about a $36 price per Kaspa when we reach a $1 trillion market cap for Kaspa. That's where you got to look long term. $1 trillion market cap, it will be the floor value for Kaspa. 12% of the entire crypto industry market cap, 12%. It's just little. It's little. And Kaspa can eventually reach a dominant state in the entire crypto industry. To reach just 12%, a $1 trillion market cap, absolutely feasible. All Kaspa has to do is reach a top 10, and it's going to absolutely be able to reach a $1 trillion market cap. I mean, looking at the top stocks, the top companies in the stock market, I mean, all of them, the top 10 are over $1 trillion. All of them. So the time is coming, whether it takes a decade or whatever timeline it needs, it's going to happen for the top cryptos out there. And honestly, for the top cryptos, I don't know if this is going to be very similar, because these all work seamlessly together, all of these. Like, you got Tesla, you got a little car, you got Amazon for buying, Microsoft for Apple, computers, phones. They all work in an economy that works together. But for crypto, it's like is that going to be the same, or are you going to have one dominant player and several other like applications perhaps below that? That's why the room for Kaspa's growth is absolutely massive, and to not have a bag, especially a moon bag for Kaspa long term, over the next decade, it's just very much a missed opportunity because this is limited. These are stocks. This is investing in a company. When you invest in money itself, this is peanuts. 4 trillion is peanuts. We're looking at 40 trillion. 40 trillion for the dominant currency of the world. These are essentially all applications. These are all companies running on the dominant currency. So right now, Kaspa trades more so like a risk-on asset, like a little bit more risky tech stock. But of course, we know what it is. We know it's already proven, mathematically proven. Everything's coming together within the next year. And that's where we're going to see, like, this is essentially pre-sale stages of Apple, essentially. When Apple listed on the stock market at $1 billion market cap, exactly at Kaspa's current price, just about. Okay, Kaspa was, traded at $1 billion just at the recent lows. So it's basically investing in Apple, in 1980? I mean, yeah, literally 1980, December 12th. We're December 19th. Hey, look at that. But of course, it took so much time for Apple to grow. I don't think it's going to take nearly as much time for Kaspa to grow, especially now we already have the internet infrastructure. We already have mass communication infrastructure, social media, all of that. It makes the spread of information and knowledge so much easier than back in the 1980s. It was so much harder to acquire and to spread that knowledge, especially among retail and average people. So am I bullish on Kaspa? You better think so. You better know so. And you better know that I'm buying heavily in this green period, accumulating heavily every single opportunity I can. And likewise for Nacho, especially at these floor levels, this is where you accumulate heavy. You get your big whale bag and you ride it to the top. Nacho, with respect to Kaspa, that's the move, because when Kaspa grows, Nacho grows too. And this is the leverage. This is the derivative play, especially because Nacho is building. Unlike most, meme coins out there, Nacho's fair launch, the same values of Kaspa, and it's building big, building on the Kaspa L1. I'll make a whole nother video on this, basically building a massive protocol on the Kaspa L1. Builders have the sustainability in mind. They're looking long-term, and that's what Nacho's all about. I wouldn't be here shilling it if I didn't believe in it. If I wasn't I wouldn't be shilling Kaspa here if I didn't believe it was the best. I wouldn't be shilling Nacho if I didn't believe it was the best. So that's what's up, guys. I'll be covering Nacho in much more detail, especially what happened with Moonbound and everything moving forward in terms of its development and listings and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But man, would I love for this to be the bottom for Kaspa. A lot of signals here are hinting that it very much could be. It very much could be. There's so many signals. You're looking across the others, looking across Bitcoin with respect to gold, looking at others with respect to gold, and you realize that we are at that macro, massive bottom. Looking at the fear index, everything's pointing that we are at the extreme bottom, and it could take just one more month. Let's look at Kaspa and look at the time periods it took to grow. Okay, so this right here, this represents about 6 months right here. Okay, 6 months for a massive consolidation period for the bull run to follow. I mean, massive bull run. This is you could call all this entire period just a massive bull run for Kaspa. And this consolidation period up here, where do we start at? So let's start at around here. It's about 365 days. It's about an entire year consolidating at the top. So can we consolidate for an entire year at the bottom? It's all certainly possible. Now, what's interesting is this level right here. So this is about 3 months, about 90 days consolidating, but within this consolidation zone between 5 to 3 cents, and that's about where we are right now. This 90-day consolidation period within here could signal the move for a breakout upward and out of this consolidation zone, which similarly happened over here in the inverse, looking at inversely. So that could take Kaspa back up to 7.5 cents, somewhere around there, or even as high as 10 cents, but it would make more sense, 7.5 cents, especially just before the massive sell-off from Binance cascading glitch that happened. So keep that in mind. That's basically lurking. A massive pump is very much lurking. To fall back down to 3.3 cents, something like that. But again, this short-term volatility, it's just not worth the hassle to worry about it. You really have to just HODL, be in that HODL mode. We're in that green zone. It means HODL. It means accumulate. It means HODL, especially as we go down deeper. Right now we touch just below this like 4-cent range. That's, I mean, perfect buying opportunity. I think it literally touched down to 4 cents and boom, it bounced, a little bounce. We'll see if this is actually the bottom, the local bottom. Okay, so if we do see a massive pump back to retest 7.5 cents, we may come back down again to retouch perhaps 5 cents, and then it's blast off. But we'll see what exactly happens. 7.5 cents, I think it could see like another consolidation period after that point. But again, think about it in terms of a year. A year since this entire sell-off, this consolidation period happened. Let's see, 365 days will take us all the way about to, this is the first quarter of 2026. This will be the second quarter of 2026. So about midway of the entire year. And that's going to be extremely bullish, okay? The fact that we already know, basically based off the price, indicators, the chart itself, estimation that we're going to end the consolidation period within the next year. That'll put us in the mid 2026. That's extremely bullish, like time frame when you line it up with the development releases. So basically with DAG-Knight, everything could be powered by the charts being bottomed, consolidation period. I'm not saying it needs a whole year, but if it does take a whole year, just keep in mind, it's just an extremely bullish setup. But right here represents 6 months, okay? This time period right here consolidating. So this represents 6 months right here, entire period that could consolidate for. So when DAG-Knight comes out, we could very much be already up here, and then the explosive growth from adoption can power us through. And that's that 70 to 80x gains that I'm talking about, all the way to $3. And it makes it look like there's just nothing happened in this entire period of time. That little period of time represents this little blip in Bitcoin's history, all the way down. And this is about the market cap that Kaspa's at currently. So you realize that, yeah, we are extremely early. When you realize that you stick to the best tech and you're good to go. I'm going to be explaining why I think it's not just about the best tech, but it's about what Kaspa is doing, and it's about what this technology represents moving forward, especially within the industry. I'll be explaining why I don't think you can compare Kaspa to the Xerox printer, for example, something that CryptoK, the ex-owner of Casta FYI, which is now shut down, that he was going into, and why I don't think that analogy works whatsoever. And I'll be breaking that down because it's kind of funny to compare the two. It's definitely a valuable lesson to learn, to realize what this investment in this technology means, what it represents, especially from a historical viewpoint and perspective, comparing to what has happened in the past for other leading breakthroughs in technologies back in the early days, like before the dot-com bubble and all of that. Basically what had created Apple, Microsoft. All right, you know what's coming, guys. Stay bullish. Run a Kaspa node if you're not already. I got a video on my channel. Just skip to the timestamps. I have 3 steps. The steps are laid out as a timestamp, 3 timestamps on the video. Very easy, very straightforward to do. Take a look. Give me some questions if you have any, if it's working for you or if it's not. And till next time, peace out, guys.